Basheer, let's talk about crime and safety. We got a couple of questions on that. What is the most important police reform you will pursue as mayor?
You know, when we deal with crime and safety, we have to look at it in a more proactive and reactive. We have to look at it holistically, right? So I want to create a mobile crisis unit that will be staffed with mental health experts and as well as trauma experts. And you have organizations now like Frontline Services, and you have these amazing organizations that are already kind of doing this type of work. We want to work with them. So that's the proactive part. You know, we've seen a lot of these, the police killings have happened to people like Tanisha Anderson, who we know that there was mental health issues there. And we can go on and on. We've seen this, right? So many of our officers may not be prepared or trained, properly trained to deal with this. Now also, on the other side of things, we want to make sure that we are investing in top-notch technology, top-notch equipment for our police officers. There's no way that we should have them driving in cars that are 400,000 miles on it, right? We have to have the best technology. So this is us being proactive and reactive.
And that is an element of the consent decree, which does require the city to invest in more technology. Do you think the consent decree has kind of achieved its goals? Do you think we are a reformed police department?
No, not even close. You know, I've asked the team, as you know, I'm a member of the safety committee. I asked them, where are we with this? They said, we are far, far away from achieving our goal. This consent decree, we're spending a lot of money as a city, but we are not getting it. You know why? Because you have to have a mayor that is an ambassador, that is a champion. And as mayor, that's exactly what I'll be. We're going to hold police accountable, but at the same time, we are going to make sure that officers have the best equipment that they need. Not only police, but you have firemen who are living in fire stations that are falling apart. You have EMS workers who are driving cars and driving, vans that are falling apart. If we are not investing in our public safety, not just, $335 million, goes towards public safety, but crime still increases. So we know that money is just not it. We have to be a place in the city of Cleveland that officers want to come and work, and as well as that we hold those accountable.
These next two questions, also on crime and safety, are somewhat related. I guess the first would be neighborhood police mini stations. Would you bring them back?
Yeah, I think those are important, I think those are important. When I travel outside of the city of Cleveland and see officers who know neighbors by name, they know the pastors by name. I mean, that goes a long way when you understand the community that you're serving. And I think that neighborhood mini stations do that.
And so I guess related and wrapping up on this point, what decision would you make to help residents feel more safe in the city right away as mayor?
As mayor, you're going to see me on the streets. You're going to see me walking the beat itself. You're going to see me in classrooms. You're going to see me bringing city services to the people. And I think, and also for the police, you're going to have a champion mayor who's not just going to criticize, but also is going to make sure that you have high quality equipment to be able to do your job. I think that we have handcuffed the police here. And as a result of that, over 100 positions in the Cleveland Police Department have not been filled. So we realize that people don't want to come and serve in Cleveland. And as a result of that, Cleveland continues to be one of the most dangerous cities in the nation, right? Poverty, of course, plays a part in it, but also we're not investing in the police. And then we are holding them accountable, which we should, but at the same time, police should have the equipment that they need to do their jobs. I think this is important.
Last question on crime and safety, and it's one that's in the news now, and we're seeing campaign literature today going out by Dennis Kucinich on it. Illegal dirt bike riders has become a symbol of lawlessness in the city, but also poses a real safety issue. How do you plan to address that issue?
Well, just the other day, I sat down with about 50 dirt bike riders. It was really interesting because I got a chance to hear their perspective. This propaganda that's going out by some of my competitors who are saying that these riders are riding around, shooting guns and things. This thing is not true. No dirt bike rider has done that here in the city of Cleveland. So you have to have a mayor who has the ability to sit down with these young people. These are our grandchildren, they're our nephews, they're our sons, they're our daughters. So we have to be willing to work with them. And what I've expressed to them was this. Number one, you know what? We need to have a place for you to be able to ride. We do it with the Hells Angels and the Zulus. We allow them to ride. So we need to find a way to be able to allow them to ride. This bike life culture is not going anywhere. So it's best for us to walk with them, to work with them. But at the same time, as I've expressed to them, after we have put this together that we both agree on, anybody that's being a renegade, there is consequences for that. And we're not going to handcuff the police. Those who break the law, we are going to deal with it. But first, I think, as mayor, the first thing that I would want to do, that I'm doing right now, is sit down with them, hear their concerns. They're human beings just like everyone else. Now, we won't tolerate the donuts in the middle of the street, but to allow them to ride, I don't think that it's a problem. It's the breaking of the crime that we have an issue with.
Thank you for that. We're going to move into economy and recovery here. A couple questions here, and I appreciate the pace of your answers. It's helping us stay on track. I appreciate it.
Mark, you're my favorite, man.
Yeah. Oh, everybody says that about me, so somebody wants something. What is the first thing you would do as mayor to help the city recover from the pandemic?
Well, number one, we have $511 million. We can take that $511 million. What we'll do is leverage those dollars, public and private partnership. We understand that we have a lot of great banks that are here who are totally underutilizing their Community Reinvestment Act dollars. So let's say we take $511 million and we leverage that to turn into $5 billion, right? Or at least billions of dollars. And that's the first thing. Number two, I think that taking a portion of that money and putting it towards building affordable homes. This is a big issue here in the city of Cleveland. Working with the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, we will increase affordable housing here in our city. The second thing I think is important, and all this is important because economic development doesn't mean anything if you don't have a base of people who want to remain here in Cleveland. So the second thing we want to see is we want to see more of an investment in senior homes. There's a lot of seniors who are living in homes that are dilapidated, roofs are falling apart, porches are falling down. We need to invest in them. In many places in the city of Cleveland, Mark, what's happening is you have these homes that have become more of a liability than an asset. Banks don't want to give to these community members. These homes fall apart. This is the way of gentrification. So we need to invest in that. The next thing is we want to have better technology in regards of city services. The city should not take months for a simple business permit, right? The city right now hasn't been good for residents, nor has it been good for businesses. So we have to bring the technology that if I go on my app and say that there's a pothole right there, that pothole needs to be filled within the next day or so. If there's a tree branch that's fell, it shouldn't take a month for someone to come get it. We have to bring hope back to the residents. So that is the way that we spur economic development. Take care of the people first.
You helped a lot. I'm going to ask the question, even though you already answered it. It helps us with editing. But how would you try to direct and spend some of that CARES Act money, that $511 million, and you talked about it just now. So we'll jump into that next section.
And if I can be more specific, Mark, one, we'll leverage those dollars, turn $511 million to billions of dollars. Second, what we'll do is look at senior building affordable homes. Thirdly, or 2A, we will look at investing in senior homes. We need to look at ending the digital divide, and we need to use some of this funding to enhance safety equipment that's in the police, fire, and EMS.
Digital divide takes me right into education. The one thing that the pandemic did show us again is that there were education losses suffered by Cleveland Public School children during the pandemic. A lot of that related to the lack of access online. So what's the first thing you do as mayor to make up those educational losses for Cleveland kids?
Before I go into that, Mark, what I want to say to everyone is that I am not like the rest of my competitors in saying what they're going to do. These are things that I'm doing right now in Ward 7. Right now in Ward 7, we are home to Digital C, which is doing some amazing work in ending the digital divide. I've worked with them, brought funding to them, been a major supporter of theirs. Right now, we've partnered with CMHA, CMSD, providing equipment on top of buildings, as well as equipment to young people who don't. And guess what, Mark? Even with all of that work, it still is far, far less than what the people need. We have to become a city that ends the digital divide. And what we saw that with the pandemic, once school closed, many children, I would venture to say the majority, did not have access to Wi-Fi because the libraries was closed, schools was closed, right? And don't let the children go to McDonald's just to get on the Wi-Fi. Now everyone is saying, no, the kids are loitering. You know, we have to understand you can't change something unless you understand the condition of the people. And that's what I am. I understand that, and that's what I've done in Ward 7. So I believe that in order to enhance that, the city must, as mayor, I will be an ambassador. Bring AT&T to the table. Bring all these national companies to the table. How can you assist us in ending this digital divide? And I think that Digital C is a perfect example of how to do it. But they will have the city's full backing with me as mayor.
All right. We're going to now go into a section that's a little bit of a potpourri here under city issues. Let's start with one that's in the news right now. Do you support public funding for the proposed renovation of Progressive Field? Why or why not?
I think that providing public funding for these very, very important institutions I think they're very important. We want Progressive Field to be the top in the country. We want these major sports teams to do great things for our city. The problem is not that they get public funding. The problem is that, number one, we are not getting we're not hearing the voices of the public. And number two, the neighborhoods don't feel any development taking place there. I don't think that Clevelanders have an issue with us supporting Progressive Field. The issue is that you're not supporting Glenville. You're not supporting Collinwood. You're not supporting Fairfax. You know, that is the issue. So as mayor, I'm not going to make any deal without having a conversation with the community. What's your thoughts about this? And guess what? At the end of the day, somebody's going to be mad at me. That is the way that leadership works, you know? But at the end of the day, at least no one can say that we didn't give them a chance to hear their voice. And I think that's what's most important.
Also in the news, the census yesterday telling us what we probably already knew. We've lost 6% population since the last one. What's the most important action that you can take to begin to reverse that trend of population loss?
Under a Basheer Jones administration, population is going to increase. It's going to increase, no doubt about it. Cleveland will be the greatest location in the nation. And the way that we do that is by taking care of the people. People want to come back when they receive great city services, when they feel safe, when they have a mayor that's communicative and saying, hey, I'm here for you. You know, I just came back from Newark, and I went to go meet the mayor there, Mayor Ras Baraka. The only mayor who didn't suffer, one of the only mayors who didn't suffer any blowback and destruction of his city after the George Floyd murder. And why is it? Because he was a mayor that was connected to the activists. He was on the streets. He was working with the people. And I believe that if you want to increase population here, businesses have to be able to do well. Residents have to feel their city services and that they are cared for and taken care of. And we have to be a safe city. When we do these things, people are going to come back, no doubt about it.
Last question under this section. I know you've spoken about it before, and you have a lot on it. If you could kind of give us your best short version of it, but does Cleveland have a systematic race problem that divides us, and how would you address it?
Of course. Yeah, that's an American problem. But I think that focusing, you know, Mother Teresa, she said, if you invite me to an anti-war rally, I'm not coming. But if you invite me to a pro-peace rally, then I'll show up. What we have to do is begin to change our focus from just talking about structural racism to really promoting better diversity in the city. And as mayor, what I would do is, number one, under my administration, minority businesses will do more business with the city of Cleveland. Number two, Clevelanders will do more business with the city of Cleveland. We can't require it, but as mayor, I would strongly prefer to see Clevelanders do business in the city of Cleveland. Black-owned businesses, Hispanic, Asian, minority businesses, members of the LGBTQ IA community need to be a part of the economic development. Listen, it's not only about what we spend that $511 million, it's also about how we spend it, preferring minority contractors to be able to do this. We should be able to create a new wealth base with this funding that's coming in. So, that's how we deal with structural racism. But it starts with the city. We did something, Mark, where we declared racism a public health crisis. And the first department that got in trouble was the health department of the city. So just imagine we are saying that we want to do this, but we're not being a great example of it. We're going to start with the city. I want to clean City Hall up. There's a lot of people that need to go, and at the same time, I'm going to treat the workers of the city like they deserve to be treated, because they deserve to be loved. And listen, they're not doing it for money, so it's clear they have a love for the city. So we have to show more appreciation. I think that that's the way. And then once you are the example, I know it's not the short answer, but once you are the example.
I didn't expect it, but that's okay.
Thank you, Mark. Once you are the example, then you can go to a Cleveland clinic and say, hey, you need to do a better job. Then you can go to the hospital systems and you can go to the banks and say, hey, we're expecting to see more people of color. And I think a great example of that was Carl Stokes. I just got finished reading his book, Promise of Power. And he said, listen, if you don't invest in our community, we are going to disinvest from you. And that's exactly the approach that I plan to take. If we don't see banks investing in the community, not one city dollar will travel through any of the banks that are here. And I think that people will do what we need them to do.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Lightning round here. We're having a little fun. This is going to test a little bit of your knowledge of your love for the city here. So what is your favorite city park?
Of course, the Fannie Lewis Park, right in Ward 7. But I've been really enjoying Lincoln Park. I find myself going over there at nighttime and just taking a walk, sitting on the bench. If anybody over there, I was the creepy guy with the suit, just sitting on the bench. So hopefully you wasn't too upset. But I just love the park, walking around there, seeing all those beautiful trees. Lincoln Park, Fannie Lewis Park. Of course, Luke Easter Park is always where we have.
I'm not going to let you name them all. Those are three good ones.
Okay.
I've been to all of them. That's excellent. Now listen to this next one. Who's been the best mayor in your lifetime?
In my lifetime? Well, Jackson's been there for 16 years. I don't want to say that one, but that's a...
It was a trap.
I would probably say Mike White. I would say Mike White. I think that, some of the things that he's done for the city, I think that he was an ambassador, he was a champion. There's some things that, I would do differently, but I think that he was the right mayor for the right time. So
all right.
That's an unfair one right there.
Yeah. Cleveland Indians, Cavs, or the Browns? Who's your favorite?
The Browns, man. The Browns. I'm a Browns guy. Now, when LeBron was here, I was much more of a Cavs fan, but I still want them to do well. But if there's anyone that I want to see take that championship now, it's the Browns. I like Baker. I think Baker, he's a phenomenal leader. And just like we don't utilize, we don't utilize that energy enough here in this city. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this city's we're gonna change it though.
All right, on this next one, you only get one answer on this,
Sweet.
okay? So listen up. If you could triage City Hall departments right now, which one needs surgery immediately?
Oh man, building and housing. Building and housing. That is the toughest one right now because, listen, Mark, I was homeless. My family was homeless. Not living in a home. I faced eviction. I've dealt with that. Not having a house, man, it's a tough thing. So to see that people have to go through hoops and hoops and hoops and hoops to get work done on their homes, to get permits, I think that we fix building and housing, we'll increase that population.
All right. The next one is really a yes or a no. Burke Lakefront Airport, keep it open, keep it closed.
No, right now, the experts say that there's no way that we can close it right now at the moment. But there's so much space around Burke Lakefront that we can develop and that we will develop. But as of right now, you can't. It'll hurt us to try to do that.
Favorite Cleveland restaurant?
Oh man, I have so many.
This is another one where you get one answer.
Only one?
Yeah, maybe two.
Okay, can I get two, please?
Yeah.
I'm going to the east side and west side.
Okay.
On the west side is Johnny's. They have the amazing lamb chops. Like, I go to Johnny's all the time, sit on the back deck, and I really enjoy myself over there. On the east side is Renee's Place. Renee's Place has This kind of biased, but every Sunday if you go there, they have a dish called Basheer's baked chicken. So just go there and try that. They always say it's the favorite on the menu, not because it's named after me, but because how they cook the food.
All right, I will check on that. Who is your second choice for Cleveland mayor this time around?
Oh, man. Basheer. I'm the first choice and my second choice. No, but I have a lot of, I was just talking with Ross DeBello on my way here, man, who I think is a very authentic person who truly says what he believes. I really like him. I haven't thought about a second choice. I think they're all great people. I think they all want to do something well for the city, but wanting to do something well and having the ability to do it is two different things.
Two more to go here. Cleveland's corporate community, friend or foe to a city hall?
I think that we have not truly worked with corporate Cleveland the way that we need to. For example, when the CEO of Cleveland Clinic wanted to meet with me, I asked him to meet with me on Huff. Let's walk down the street and let's discuss and let me show you what's happening in our neighborhood. Corporate Cleveland is only going to do what the mayor allows or asks them to do. So for me, as mayor, I have higher standards for corporate Cleveland. There's a lot that needs to be changed, a lot that needs to be done. And let me tell you, in my neighborhood, Ward 7, my first major thing I did, first major project, $30 million project on Ansel and Huff. And that was done by Signet Real Estate. And I asked them, hey, if you want to do this deal, you need to understand that you can't own the land. We created a Huff Community Land Trust that was funded by the Cleveland Foundation, that's ran by community members, and they own the land. And they was okay with the deal. I think that corporate Cleveland would do much more great things for the city. Not that they're not doing anything, but they would do even more if you had a mayor that pushed them, that set higher standards.
Great. Last one, it's an easy one, looking for a short answer. What's your workout routine? What do you do for exercise?
Man, I love basketball. I played back in high school at MLK. Breathing, first deep breathing, making sure that I'm drinking a lot more water. I've been working, running around this city, so you got to make sure you hydrated. But also, just deep breathing, taking that time to reflect on the why I'm doing this. And of course, I get on the bench, and as you can tell, I know you can't.
Yeah, sun's out, the guns are out.
I know you
right
can't.
now.
You could tell, but yeah, that's my workout, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Now, here's the one question for you specifically. We've got one each. All have the same level of difficulty, so don't have to feel bad. Obviously, I followed a lot on social media. I've tried to understand a lot of your messages to different parts of the community. Yeah. Sometimes I felt like there was two Basheers, whether we're talking about defunding police. I know that's not where you are, but you're supporting the police, but we've I've seen different elements of you. Who is the real Basheer candidate? What's your message for all of Clevelanders?
I think that, I've been the same. And Mark, and you remember, man, you came out to see me when I was camping out on 79th and Superior. In doing the work in your history in this city, that I'm not new to activism or fighting for the community. So I'm sincere. I'm sincere when I'm right, and I'm sincere when I'm wrong. And I have no qualms about changing my mind when I'm wrong. And the fact is that depending on who you're talking to, there's a message. I have 3 children, and when I'm talking to my daughter, it's not the same when I'm talking to my son. Even though it's the same message, but I'm saying it in different ways. So as a leader, you have to understand that when you're speaking to people, you don't speak to everybody the same way. Everyone has different lived experiences. Everyone has different cultures. Everyone has different understandings. So who I am is sincere. What you see is what you get. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you that I was wrong. I'm open to listening. I'm open to learning. And more than anything, you can't lead people if you don't love them. And I love this city. I love the people in it. And I'm willing to take the risk. People say, well, Basheer, why would you run for mayor? You already a councilman. You can, my community is used to a Fannie Lewis staying there for years. But the fact is that the change that I want to make, I cannot make it from the city council position. I have to make it from the mayor's position. And the people are worth the risk.
All right, that works. That is great. I appreciate it.